Now, what I'm about to say is not financial advice, it's my opinion. And I do hold Intel shares. And Intel is a very exciting stock, and you'll find out why. Now, what I'm about to say should be considered as raw material for your own thinking, your own research. And I could be right, I could be wrong. You could think I'm a genius, you could think I'm an idiot. So, having said that, here we go. Hello again, and good morning. And it was a very good afternoon yesterday, because Intel went off the dial. It went up at one stage over 30%, ended 25% up. Now, as you might have seen, I've been covering Intel, saying that Intel was dirt cheap and was going to explode because of various factors. Well, it exploded. So let's go back to basics. There's a geopolitical conflict going on between America and China, and it all boils down to the workshop of the world is the ruler of the world. It used to be for the English, British I should say, was for the Americans, still is in America's mind, and right now the workshop of the world is China. So the American idea of being the big dog is kind of in peril, to say the least. To counteract that, America is trying to re-industrialize and is doing everything it can to get back to shipbuilding, to looking after strategic and critical minerals, and to be able to do steel, etc., energy, coal, blah blah blah. They're trying to bring manufacturing back. Well, if you're going to get into a conflict at whatever level with China, not much good if all your chips are made in China or Taiwan. And right now, pretty much that's what's going on. If you look at chip making in the US, most of it is Intel. And Intel has fabs all over North America and all over Europe. Whereas people like Nvidia span out, and AMD for that matter, span out or never had their own fabrication and are looking to China or Taiwan to make their chips. Same goes for Apple. Apple kit is made generally in China. So what are you going to do if there's a toe-to-toe shouting match between America and China? You're in trouble, aren't you? So you have to bring that critical stuff back into America. And the only way to do it with any sort of speed is to look at what you've got. And as far as chip fabs go, it's Intel. That is the premise, that is the thesis. So when I started to say this, Intel was below $20. So just a quick interjection. I did a chart in the last video, and here it is. And this is what I was predicting could happen. Well, yesterday, this is what happened, which is smack bang on target with that prediction. Not bad, huh? Pretty chuffed, I might say so myself. Anyway, so no need to actually change that prediction in the medium and short term. So this is where we are right now. When I started to say this, Intel was below $20. And then SoftBank came out and said, oh, we'll put some money into you. SoftBank obviously has been in the White House a fair bit, but anyway, let's forget that for a moment. And then up pops the White House and says, right, we're having 10% of you, here's a check, by the way, that money we were going to put into you anyway, take that as part of the payment, and off you go. Well, with the American government involved, you can see that this is now a strategic thing. So the idea of Intel is the only game in town for fabs in the US is suddenly backed up by what happens next. And now, yesterday, Nvidia and Intel announced that they're going to be working together on AI infrastructure and solutions. And up goes Intel 25, 30%. Intel is no longer the dog that it was. Intel is now part of the critical infrastructure of the AI revolution, and it's going to reprice. Now, Intel is 2 times sales. Global Foundries is 3. It's another fab. ARM is 30. AMD is 10. Nvidia is, 35 times sales. So if Intel were to go to 4 times sales, it would go to $50 or $60. if it's going to go to 10 times sales, which is kind of like the tech company normal, that would be 5 times the current $30, $150. So you could say Intel could go anywhere between $50 and $150 a share over the next 2 or 3 years. That's the dream anyway. So here we are, the idea that Intel was critical to American industry going forward with its chip fabs, and also for AI, which is really where this battle is going to take place. At the AI level, hopefully it will stay there. Intel is key to that. So it's jumped 50% since I actually started to say this. But it's still only twice sales. And 10 times sales would be the norm for tech companies. And the sky's the limit when you look at people like ARM and Nvidia. So even now, after this big jump, Intel is still as cheap as chips.